Hello again. Just watched the video with Alex. Good job, at one point trying to incorporate some movement. Again, I would just be mindful of that wait time when you're asking him to do something. And even instead of like sit back, be more direct, hips down, bend your knees. Feel the back of your chair up against the back, or real kind of direct prompts. At one point noted to maybe change the arrangement of the room or the table so you could kind of have him to the left of you, but like a wall to the left of him and a wall behind him, so there isn't much of that escaping. But again, tell him the same as how I said in the other one, like we're just gonna try for 3 words and then you can roam around and get back down to spell when we need to spell. I would hold the board down, lower, watch his wrist. I think it was a little kind of loosey-goosey, but you really want a nice strong wrist. I would also, it's tough, but the more and more that comes, practice that comes, you get more familiar with the boards. But excuse me, I always advise to have the boards on the table, just because if they're on your lap, it can get messy, and that way you have that left hand for gestural prompts. Remember to always break the board if there's 2 mispokes. Also have him and anyone else you're ever spelling with, if you're reading, have him put the pencil down, just because kind of sitting there with the pencil ready can get annoying or into a loop or whatever. So having the pencil down and then telling him grab that pencil, get ready to poke, that's kind of an initiation prompt in its own. Again, make sure that he can, just like in that last video, really extend that arm good. Originally, I kind of noted maybe lower the tone, but then I saw in your reflection that you think more of that kind of high energy helps him, which, yeah, let's see some more of it. There are some guys that, do benefit from that. And again, it's tough, like, he's your kid, so I know that how you work with him and speak to him, it will be different than other clients, but just for future things, and even with him, it could help with regulation. Instead of saying lines like, I'm not liking this, or you're not looking at the board, things like that, just know that he does want to be there, and he does want to be doing this, and he doesn't want his body to be doing everything that it's doing. Insides don't match the outsides. Even all of that giggling could have really been a very anxious giggle, but who knows, maybe it was a happy giggle. But really, really being super mindful of every word that comes out of your mouth, and just kind of how you word it really helps with regulation. Even sometimes, I don't know if you've done this or not, but my past mentees, they'll ask a question and then they'll say like, "Ooh, do you remember the answer to this?" But, remind yourself that none of this is about comprehension or understanding anything, and we know that they remember it. So instead of saying, "Can you tell me?" or "Do you know the answer?" then just say first letter. I would definitely try to do a lot less of the tapping on the table. Just kind of how the Andrew, from outsider perspective, seemed to be excessive. That tapping also can get, a little frustrating or turn into a trigger, or who knows. But instead of tapping the board so much or even tapping in between letters, just try and hold it nice and steady, and that's where that gestural prompt really comes in handy. And if you need, sometimes I'll do like a eyes over here or eyes down or look at your letters, but then that's also where you can do that support. So if you can, try and take away the tapping on the table, or if you need to, just do it a few times throughout the session, but not as frequent as it was happening. And that's good, you know, that you noticed he's doing a little better with the stencils. I love it. Just make sure that you stay steady with which hand he's poking and being a stickler with the pencil grip and all of that. And again, too, if you've noticed that a little bit of that higher tone helps, then do that. But just keep remembering that whether or not his body seems to be into it or like he wants to do it, I promise you he does, and he's just so excited. And also, I've said it and I'll keep saying it forever and ever, but these parent-speller relationships typically take longer, just because, you know, there's so much emotion on both ends, and excitement and anxiety, and, you know, what's gonna happen next. So it's totally fine, but just slow and steady wins the race. And yeah, I think, again, to try and do a little less spells. Let me look at your transcript real quick. Or you did a lot of knowns, so that was good. But yeah, there were a couple times even throughout the session where you went back to some spells and just skipped those completely because he was good to go. And oh yeah, at the very end, I don't think I saw it in the video or not, but it says on your transcript you have a semi-open, which unless he was, you guys are on the 26 board, then there's no reason or, you know, excuse. They're just, you shouldn't, there's no way to do semis reliably on the 3s unless there might be a very rare occasion that it's like 2 options and both words are on one of the 3 boards and they're far away, so you at least can figure out where they're going. But for the most part, I don't touch oranges until I'm on a green 26 board. And then even once you do jump up to that 26, you need to be mindful that new board, new motor, I gotta prompt heavy again, start back with spells and greens, and then introduce the oranges. But yeah, good job. Let me know what you think of these. And if you're okay with resubmitting a video 9 after the fact that you got all these feedbacks.